What's up, everyone? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. To get us started in today's video, we've got this video that was shared by payments.com. 3 months until the U.S. payments ecosystem changes forever. In July, the long-awaited FedNow service launches, and its real-time rail will speed up money movement between accounts, transform bill payments, and bring instant payments to a variety of use cases yet to be imagined. As First Source Bank Vice President of Cards, Payments, and Strategy Jim Hunt, Finzlia founder and CEO Bhushan Ranganachari, and Federal Reserve SVP, Head of Payments Industry Relations Connie Thean told Payments collaboration has been and will be critical in the months and years ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Hal. I am very excited about our recent announcement that we are launching the service in July. And we're proud that, with the partnership of our pilot program participants, we've been able to deliver this early in our original 2-year target window. It really wouldn't have been possible without, in the trenches collaboration. So in July, we launched the service. It'll encompass that end-to-end instant payment clearing and settlement, along with a lot of features that will help participants with reporting and liquidity management, things that will support risk management and fraud management. So a really full-featured service that can deliver value on day one. But post the launch, we've also designed the infrastructure so that we can really enhance the service in an agile and iterative way. So participants will see features and functionality coming forward on a pretty regular cadence, especially over the first year and a half, as we build it out to, really our vision of a Cadillac infrastructure. As part of, preparing for that July launch, this week was a really critical milestone. We opened the window for formal certification of participants. So our pilot, our processors, our financial institutions who want to be there on day one, go live, are beginning a program to work through all of the testing requirements and expectations and validation exercises. Those that complete that by mid-June will be eligible to be with us on day one when we launch. And we'll spend, late June into early July doing production environment validation with that group. We've got over 120 pilot participants. A good number will be ready, I think, for that launch and represent, a variety of processors who support financial institutions, as well as financial institutions big and small. We expect to have there on day one, and the U.S. Treasury, who's been a really active participant in the pilot as well. So we're really excited where we're at. In terms of this discussion, I think, what we've learned is those that are here and ready to go are organizations that have done a great job of partnering.
As always, welcome back to Moneyside, your favorite crypto news channel. If you're new here, welcome to the XRP Army. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you don't miss out on our daily crypto news updates. In another interesting update coming to us from Crypto Airy, we've got this clip of the European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde speaking at the Biz Innovation Summit. She says that CBDCs won't be as private as cash. It will never be anonymous or protect your privacy. As an argument for a CBDC, Lagarde voiced her desire for Europe not to be dependent on an unfriendly country's currency, such as the Chinese or Russian currencies, or a friendly currency, but which is activated by a private corporate entity like Facebook or Google that could take over the sovereignty of Europe.
Is it going to be as private as cash? No. So a digital currency will never be as anonymous and as protecting of privacy in many respects as cash.
Moving forward, we've got yet another update from 801 XRP. Brooks Entwistle at Ripple as Managing Director of APAC Ripple was set up 10 years ago to be the company to find real-world use cases for the XRP ledger and XRP digital asset. We really identified very early on that cross-border payments and moving value across borders is where we wanted to play and go after. We've been doing that for 10 years. It takes time. Interview from Davos 2023. The Internet of Value is the new standard.
That's great. So, Brooks, wanted to come to you because I think to me it's really interesting because Ripple represents both sort of the deeper definition of sustainability when it comes to use cases and what you've been piloting in terms of energy efficiency, and also in your model in creating those partnership ecosystems across so many of your customers. I'm sure you're advancing sustainable approach in a deeper way. So, curious for your take.
Great, thank you, Anna, and thank you to the GBBC for putting this together and the convening. It's excellent space, and it's certainly at a time right now at Davos, these sorts of conversations, kind of deep conversations, getting to the heart of the issue are important. So I like this framework of thinking about, the core business and what we're actually going after from a business front, and then how we do it. And that could apply to anyone thinking about sustainability. And so Ripple was set up 10 years ago to be the company to find real-world use cases for the XRP ledger and XRP, the digital asset. Separate company from the ledger and the asset, of course. And we really identified very early on that cross-border payments and moving value across borders was where we wanted to play and go after. We've been doing that for 10 years. It takes time, and it's taken a lot of effort to build a network now over 70 countries. But the underlying goal hasn't changed in the beginning, and our employees love this, our stakeholders love it, and it's all about moving value in a faster, cheaper, more trustworthy, and now greener way across borders. And using blockchain technology initially, and then also adding on digital assets as the bridge currency more frequently and more recently. And so that is really what's driven our core business at Ripple, RippleNet. But we also really view, and I like the way that all the panelists have talked about it, there is the macro and then there's kind of the underlier, if you will. And the underlier for Ripple is that we did start out with a ledger that was carbon neutral. We did start out with a vision from the founders that the environments was going to be very important to what we were doing. And we've lived that for the last 10 years of doing things like signing the Crypto Climate Accord, and we'll talk about later in the panel, kind of going after the carbon credit market and getting a creator fund around that. And so I think that to me is this balance that you laid out, is the business model and then how you're doing it together have to be in concert and not be at odds with each other.
Thanks for that broader framing. Sierra, I wanted to come to you.
Looking at another update posted by Kim.com is a video of Peter Saongi of the Heritage Foundation, economist. He's talking about how the New World Order will cut Biden out. This is the end of the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar's position as the primary gold reserve currency is being challenged as countries become eager to insulate themselves from Washington's influence. The dollar's reserve status began to decline in 2014 when some major global powers began to de-dollarize their business dealings. The war in Ukraine and the subsequent sanctions that it inspired have accelerated the de-dollarization process.
Why should I be worried?
Yeah, well, that was a great summary, Jesse. And, really one of the driving goals of our foreign policy for decades now has been protecting the U.S. dollar. And at this point, this administration is throwing that away. And the reason that matters for regular people, not only does that erode our influence in the world, it's bad for our economy. It takes away some of the advantages that we have. But this is something where if the abandonment of the dollar takes off, for 80 years now, we have flooded the world with U.S. dollars. They've kept hold of them. That's been fantastic because they give them useful things. They give us toasters and cars and copper mines for those dollars. Now, the problem is if we throw that away, all of those dollars come flooding back into America. That means we have way too many dollars. We have a word for that, which is inflation. So we could see enormous inflation, and that's at a time when our banks are already wobbling.
So what can Joe Biden do about this right now? Because it seems like the entire world is conspiring against us and the dollar.
Yeah, there's two things. One of them we have been trying to get him to do for a long time, which is cut the spending. The inflation right now for the past, year and a half, Americans have been suffering, highest inflation in 50 years. because of all the government spending. Forget raising interest rates, forget all these shenanigans with the banks, cut the spending. Number two is we need to learn to mind our own business. Other countries have their way of doing things. If we go in there and we start dictating social policy, they start to get scared. And, what happened after Russia went into Ukraine is we seized the assets of the Russian central bank. Those were the dollars that they were holding. We did not even do that during the Soviet Union. We had, proxy wars going on all over the world, and we didn't even do that. This administration is just absolutely reckless. That sends a message to every country in the world that if you get on the wrong side of our LGBT policies.
And now to wind up on today's video, we have an interesting tweet from Ripple. According to former treasurer of the U.S. and Ripple board member Rosie Rios, blockchain is here to stay. She further explains why businesses and government should be working together for the future, for growth and innovation. It's time to build a more efficient, dynamic, and transparent financial system. Ripple's crypto solutions empower innovative finance leaders to drive business advantage from crypto today.
I'm Rosie Rios, former Treasurer of the United States and current board member of Ripple. What I like to talk about is really kind of this intersection between government and innovation. Certainly coming from the Bay Area, born and raised in Silicon Valley, I've seen a lot of change over time. And what I love is the conversation is really starting to happen in a constructive way where I think we as a region, we as a country, and perhaps we as a globe could really think about the future of fintech and who the stakeholders are and how we can make this effective for everyone. So when you think about growth, it's not just kind of GDP growth, which of course is a big part of the economy, but it's also where new growth comes from. And that usually comes from, certainly lately, in technology and innovation. So I think the benefit of why business and government should be working together is, again, providing that level of certainty for further expansion, further growth, and certainly more jobs for the economy. So blockchain is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And so it's not just how to facilitate commerce. There are other applications, whether it's NFTs, whether it's, selling real estate, whether it's, any type of financial ledger that can be recorded for posterity's sake. This is here to stay. And it's important and incumbent upon the government at every level, whether it's local, whether it's state, whether it's national, to really give some thought as to how those applications are going to benefit them and benefit everyone. But I think what's most important is what are those guardrails? What are those tracks that we can lay down in order to move forward in a way that really blazes the trail for future growth and future opportunities that we don't even know are there yet?
As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind, we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to like this video. Please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed when we drop new video. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.